Have you ever had your whole world fall apart in a single day? Imagine coming home expecting a normal evening, only to discover that the person you trusted most had walked away, leaving behind 4 tiny babies and a lifetime of questions. I thought my life was over. I had no idea that the greatest heartbreak of my life would become the beginning of something far more beautiful. And 10 years later, fate gave me a reunion I never expected. Before we begin this emotional story, please take a moment to subscribe to Spread Kindness, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories that remind the world kindness still exists. 10 years ago, my life looked perfect from the outside. My wife, Emily, and I had just welcomed our beautiful quadruplets into the world. 4 tiny miracles filled our home with laughter, sleepless nights, and endless hope. We were exhausted, but I believed we were building the family we had always dreamed about. Then one ordinary afternoon, everything changed. I came home from work carrying groceries and excited to see my babies. The house was strangely quiet. Emily's closet was empty. Her wedding ring sat on the kitchen table beside a short note. It simply said, "I'm sorry. This isn't the life I want." There was nothing else. No explanation. No goodbye. Just silence. A few days later, I learned the painful truth. She had been seeing another man for months. She had chosen a different life, leaving me alone with 4 newborn babies. I remember sitting on the living room floor while all 4 babies cried at the same time. I cried with them because I had no idea how I was going to survive. Friends told me to give up. Some suggested putting the children into foster care until I got my life together. Others said no man could raise 4 infants alone. But every time I looked into those tiny faces, I made the same promise. I will never leave you. Life became incredibly difficult. I barely slept more than 2 hours at a time. During the day I worked from home whenever possible. At night I changed diapers, prepared bottles, washed clothes, cleaned the house, and rocked crying babies until sunrise. Money became tight. I sold my motorcycle. Then I sold my expensive watch. Every dollar went toward diapers, baby food, and doctor visits. One evening I was standing in a grocery store counting coins, trying to decide whether I could afford fruit that week. An elderly woman noticed my struggle. Without saying much, she quietly paid for my groceries. When I tried to stop her, she smiled. "Someday," she said, "help someone else." That simple act stayed with me forever. As the years passed, our little family became stronger. The quadruplets grew into kind, funny, and caring children. Emma loved reading books. Noah dreamed of becoming a firefighter. Lily wanted to help sick animals someday. Ethan never stopped making everyone laugh. Every Friday night became family pizza night. Every Sunday morning we cooked pancakes together. We didn't have expensive vacations or fancy cars, but our home was filled with love. Whenever someone at school was lonely, my children invited them to sit with us. Whenever a neighbor needed help carrying groceries, my kids rushed outside before I even asked. Kindness became the foundation of our family. Not because life had been kind to us, but because we chose kindness anyway. Years later, my small online business slowly began to grow. Customers appreciated honesty and good service. One recommendation led to another until the business became successful enough that we no longer worried about paying bills. For the first time in years, we could finally breathe. Then came the day everything came full circle. The children had just finished a youth volunteer event at a local community center. We stopped for lunch at a nearby restaurant. As we waited for our table, I noticed a woman staring at us. It took me several seconds to recognize her. Emily. She looked older. Tired. The confident smile I remembered had disappeared. The moment her eyes met mine, she froze. Then she looked at the 4 children standing beside me. She whispered their names one by one. Tears filled her eyes. I can't believe how much they've grown. The children looked at me, confused. They knew who she was from old photographs, but none of them remembered her. Emily asked if we could sit down for a few minutes. Part of me wanted to walk away. Another part remembered the lesson that elderly woman had taught me years earlier. Kindness costs nothing. We sat together. Emily admitted that the life she had chased had fallen apart. The man she left with eventually abandoned her too. She spent years moving from job to job, always believing happiness was somewhere else. Instead, she lost everything that truly mattered. She apologized over and over. I don't expect forgiveness, she said quietly. I just wanted to tell you how sorry I am. The children remained silent. Finally, Emma reached across the table. She gently handed Emily a napkin. You don't have to cry alone, she said. I couldn't believe those words came from my daughter. Emily completely broke down. At that moment, I realized something important. I had spent years teaching my children kindness without realizing how deeply they had learned it. After lunch, Emily asked if she could slowly rebuild a relationship with the children. I told her that decision belonged to them. Over the following months, they met occasionally in public places. They talked, laughed awkwardly, and slowly got to know one another. Trust wasn't rebuilt overnight. Some wounds take years to heal. But kindness made healing possible. One evening Noah asked me something I'll never forget. Dad, are you angry anymore? I thought carefully before answering. No, I said. Why? Because carrying anger for 10 years is like carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks. Eventually you realize you're the one getting tired. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It simply lets your heart move forward. He smiled. I think Grandma's grocery lesson worked. I laughed. It really did. Looking back now, I realize losing everything wasn't actually the end of my story. It was the beginning of becoming the father my children needed. Pain taught me compassion. Struggle taught me gratitude. Kindness taught me strength. If Emily had never left, perhaps I would never have discovered the incredible love our little family was capable of creating together. Today our home is still full of laughter. The children continue helping neighbors, volunteering in the community, and reminding me every day that goodness is contagious. Life will disappoint us. People will sometimes break our hearts. But we always get to choose the kind of person we become afterward. And sometimes, the greatest victory isn't proving someone wrong. It's proving that kindness can survive even the deepest heartbreak. If this story touched your heart, remember that one small act of kindness can change someone's entire future, just as one stranger once changed mine with a bag of groceries and a few gentle words. Thank you for watching, for believing in hope, and for choosing compassion. Until next time, keep spreading kindness wherever life takes you, because the smallest act of love may become the greatest gift someone ever receives.